Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be showing off the new DracoSlayers in action. So the archetype is actually pretty good. You're seeing this play just for a little bit of an additional searcher. Obviously, yeah, Summoning Crow is kind of a weird play, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do in the deck, and the deck is actually pretty dang good. But make sure you guys do stick around because I do need to mention something that's very important for the archetype that you need to know if you're playing up against or if you plan to play it, because the field spell actually has like an effect that I feel like is a little bit too powerful if you know how to use it correctly. Basically, you can actually utilize it on the turn one, even if your opponent happens to not have something to pop. But nonetheless, we'll get into that in a moment here. But what do the new DracoSlayers do, and what are the new star players? So it's basically Pegasus as one of the star players, and there's the Dino Mist engine too, but usually it's just used as a pen scale. They do have another bonus effect where you can add a face-up DracoSlayer or a Dino Mist pen from your extract, but a lot of times it's just used for like the extra like card for being a DracoSlayer. But turn one, what can you consistently do in the deck? Well, you can definitely go for an F0 pretty easy because you're going to make multiple copies of the Ascending DracoSlayer. But to follow it up, you can throw an F0. You can throw up a Galaxy Eyes to get an extra negation as well. You can go for Bow of the Goddess consistently. Bow of the Goddess will have anywhere from 2 to 4 negates. Pushing 5 is going to be relatively difficult with Bow of the Goddess, but you can average about 3 to 5 negates. It's going to be very difficult, I would say, to pull off 6 negates in the deck, but you will be able to have enough resources to game your opponent consistently in the next following turn, which is quite great for the deck. Now, can it play into break my boards? It can be kind of difficult if there happens to be like, for example, and a Tree Beast. Obviously, Pendulum already has like kind of issues with that. And the reason why is the new support is actually pretty good. The field spell, which we'll get into in a moment. But that card is actually really good turn 1 and turn 2 for the deck, because if they get rid of it, it's got another bonus effect. But nonetheless, there's also Ignis Phoenix. So it's got like, it's all over the place in terms of the new DracoSlayers. It's got like Ignite, Magispector, Dino Mist. It's crazy with what they've decided to do with the deck. But I've got a lot of different gameplays. I'll show you guys the deck winning. I'll show you guys the deck losing. I'll show you guys multiple different builds so you guys can understand how the deck can be played. So he's going for Dino Mist Charge. Again, a lot of stuff is just to add one. And if you do play the Searcher for like the, it's kind of more so for like the Endymion builds of any Pendulum based ones. Just adding in the extra card in addition to your scale gives you the third card, or you can Rhoda. There's a lot of other cards that allow you to do it, but he gets Veiler over here. Unfortunate, so not Halky Fibrax, but he will still be able to complete his pen scale and go for a 5. So shout out to RR for this build. There's lots of different builds that I will show you guys, but Pegasus is pretty good as well. So it has the monster effect. It's always treated as a Magispector card. It has a quick effect. You can discard it until the end of this turn. Your opponent can't target DracoSlayer monsters you control with card effects, and they can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. But if this card is pen summon or spell summoned by a DracoSlayer card's effect, you get to add 1 field spell from your deck to your hand. So that effect is actually pretty important. But then you also have to discard 1 card, which is kind of unfortunate. But nonetheless, it is also a spellcaster. So the deck technically has potential for turn 1, Bow of the Goddess with like 3 negates. Maybe you can push 4 or 5. And then if you happen to have the Secret Village, that would be the additional card that would give you pretty much the edge in most fights over here. Force his opponent to go make the Shining so he can finally get over the Bow of the Goddess. That card is just so powerful still in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you don't got an Imperm or something else to get rid of it, or droplets to chain to like whatever other things would prevent you from losing out on the Bow of the Goddess, it can be real nasty. But yeah, this field spell card is so dang powerful. He just had to say GG at that point. But I do have a really good hero matchup that I'll show you guys up in a second. But I just want to give you guys a variety of different like builds and plays. This one over here by Little T. So he's going to activate the effect of Driver. Unfortunately, he kind of drew the brick. Unlucky, it happens. But what can you do with basically just the pen scale and the Draconic Pendulum? So I mentioned before, this card is very important to actually know how it works. So you can actually pop this yourself and get the bonus effect. And on top of that, it has the other effect of if a dragon, a DracoSlayer monster you control activates its effect, you get to target a card in the field and destroy it. That effect is actually pretty nice, obviously. Being able to just get rid of your opponent's cards. Again, if you are going second, it makes it so much better. But if you are going first, though, you can actually pop it yourself, and you will get the extra DracoSlayer or Draco Overlord monster from your deck that you can special summon, or you just add it to your hand if you need to complete your scale. But the guy is playing the Dynamorphia, or Dynamorphia, and obviously he's going to be at low life points. He activated some stuff. This matchup is actually pretty good over here. I like, we're going to be seeing the new Ian Shuffle. I do want to cover the hero stuff very, very soon. It's on my list. I think the new hero stuff is actually pretty good too. But like I said, DracoSlayer is quite great as well, and it is very popular. I've seen this deck happen to see a lot more play within the last few days. Sometimes it's just because it's new, but sometimes when things are new, people still don't want to play. Like the Amazoness, yeah, that archetype definitely is underwhelming, but you know, sometimes people just like to try new things. But I think this one is not one of those like sleeper decks. Like it's actually pretty good if people want to take the time to actually learn the combos for it. It's a very consistent deck. Obviously, Pendulum has a lot of consistency with some of the newer support. You basically almost have Electromite, right? It's pretty close. But this is what I was talking about, where if you pop it, you can still get the effect. And obviously this happens to be a dragon too. Really great stuff, being able to once per turn target a pen monster on the field or in the pen zone. You pop it, and then you get a shuffle one on the field. Wish this effect was a quick effect. It probably would be too OP if it was, but you also just, you can go overlay that, and then like the Dino Mister. Dinoster into number 90. So this is the extra negation that I was talking about early on. You can go for this, and that's 2, and then, well, Regeki just says no to everything. It's just clearing out boards here. But the Stratos will be going for its effect. It's also got a droplet in addition to this play. Hero player actually is going to be popping off here, but we see the Draco Future trying to stop it, but the droplet is going to be coming in clutch, stopping that F-Zero from going off. He's going to try to use the Ash Blossom, stops it, but he's got the Ian Shuffle, putting back the Stratos, going for the Spirit of Neos to add the Poly, activating Poly, going for Sunrise, proccing the effect of the Liquid Soldier over there. Now he's going to go activate Miracle Fusion, bringing out Ab-Zero, then going into Cross Crusader, activating Ab-Zero's effect, going to be popping everything on the board, which is great for him, and Denier going to be able to go for that effect. And then he's got Dark Calling, he's got the Adjusted Gold, and he's got the Malicious Bait, and that's going to be pretty much sealing the deal. That was a really, really good comeback from a board that I thought like he had game for sure. But like I said, I'll show you guys the deck win, I'll show you it lose. It's actually a pretty decent deck at playing the grind game as well, but in terms of like turn 1, it's pretty solid. So I was mentioning, if you want to play like a more of an Endymion build, Magical Abductor still, I think it's a pretty decent pen card. So it allows the deck to have a really good normal summon. So each time a spell card's activated, you place one of it on it. It gains 100 attack, but it doesn't really matter. Once per turn, you get to remove 3 spell counters from this card to add a level 1 spellcaster from your deck to your hand. So it allows the deck to have a lot more searchability. A level 1 spellcaster is pretty good. You might know Effectivator. But it's also got the pen effect of each time a spell is activated, you get to place a spell counter on this card. When it resolves, you can remove 3 of them, add a pen monster. So it does have like different effects depending on what you want to do. And then we see triple tactic talents activated. He's going for the Endymion build of this one. And like I said, Secret Village can be utilized in the deck. It's an excellent card, especially for turn 1 plays. I feel like adding at least one of these to the deck will be so much better because, well, this card can actually search it out. Remember though, you do have to discard 1 card with the Pegasus. It's not just like search out a field spell. I mean, that would be pretty OP, right? But yeah, they do have to also have a spellcaster, so no spells for the Exorcister player. Imperm is going to be activated, going to be stopping that. He uses it, but it doesn't really matter anyways. It's going to be going away very soon, Kappa. But he's going for the Banish of the Secret Village because, well, he might want to play some spells over here because he's got 2 in his hand. He's going to go activate that, and Endymion's going to stop that, bouncing itself back to the hand, and he's going to finally attack over the Selene, and it's going to pass it off to the pen player's turn, and he's going to complete the scale, and he's like, nope, not happening, not on my watch. Paying 150 life points for the Exorcister player. He's really up in a bind over here, but the pen player needs to really complete the pen scale. I mean, as long as you're able to banish like once per turn, it might be difficult to top deck. I mean, he doesn't know what he has, but if he had pens, he would have just Pendulum summoned, right? He definitely would always want to try to do that, unless it was like the wrong scale or whatever the case may be. But this is going to be very difficult to top
top deck out of, especially since you've already exhausted most of the things, and that's going to be GG's. But there's a few different builds, but shout outs to all the players. Little T over here, this guy's build RR and Togful. I'll mouse over the cards relatively quick, but also include in the Discord the one-click download for any of you guys that do want it, but I'll mouse over it just in case any of you guys plan like doing that work, or if you want to build it in real life. This way you guys still have access to at least seeing kind of what the cards are. But yeah, the new star players are basically the Pegasus, as well as the Igneous Phoenix, as well as the Field Spell, but everyone should be playing at least one copy of Secret Village. You can search it out. That card is pretty good. Last time I heard, spells are very irrelevant in Yu-Gi-Oh! You can see all of the gamma in this build, but maxing out. Look at all the amount of hand traps, 11 right there. And then also, I guess this is kind of like a hand trap too, right? But great stuff indeed as well. I like this being able to search out the card, because it lets any card, I guess, be like a viable normal summon, because you're just going to link it off and get an extra negate anyway. So it's not even bad if you open up with too many hand traps and you need to summon DD Crow, right? Like you saw it in one of the plays here. But anyways, guys, that's the new Draco stuff. Let me know what you think of it. I think it's actually a pretty solid deck. Would I say it's the best deck of like the format? Well, not quite. Splight is actually still very, very powerful, but I still think that this deck has some potential, maybe like 1 or 2 cards short. I mean, with Beyond the Pendulum, you're basically at Electrobite anyways. It's almost as good. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the gameplay, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn on the bell if you want to see more new Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks and gameplay in the future. And I'll catch you guys next one. Peace.